different paths, different timing.
Everyone wants to see results quickly. We want proof that what we are doing matters. We want something visible, something real, something we can point to and say, it's working. But life does not always work that way. Sometimes you wake up early, try your best, stay disciplined, and still, nothing seems to change. No recognition, no progress, no sign that you are moving forward. And slowly, a quiet question begins to grow inside you. What if this is not working at all? In a quiet town, far from busy cities and loud ambitions, there lived a boy named Elias. Elias was not remarkable. He was not the smartest in school. He was not the fastest. He was not the one people expected great things from. He was simply there. He tried to do well. He listened in class. He completed his work. But every time results came back, he was always somewhere in the middle. Never the worst, never the best. And over time, that started to feel heavier than failure. Because at least failure is clear. But being average feels like being invisible. One afternoon, after another ordinary day at school, Elias walked to his grandfather's house. It was a small wooden place at the edge of the town, surrounded by a simple garden that looked untouched by time. His grandfather was sitting outside, quietly cleaning an old tool. Elias sat down beside him and sighed. "I don't think I'm good at anything," he said. His grandfather did not react immediately. He simply continued what he was doing, as if he had heard this sentence many times before from many different people. After a while, he reached into a small box beside him and took out 2 seeds. He placed them gently in Elias's hand. "These are for you," he said. Elias looked at them. They were small, dry, almost lifeless. "What are they?" "One is a cucumber seed," his grandfather replied. "The other is a pomegranate seed." Elias frowned slightly. They looked the same. His grandfather smiled softly. "That's because you're only looking at what they are now." Then he stood up and pointed toward the garden. "Plant them. Take care of them. Come back and tell me what you see." The next morning, Elias went into the garden. He found 2 small spaces in the soil, placed each seed into the ground, covered them gently, and poured water over them. There was no excitement, no big expectation, just a simple action. Then he went back home. The following day, he returned. Nothing had changed. The soil looked exactly the same. Still, he watered both spots. Days passed like that, quiet, repetitive, almost meaningless. Then, one morning, something different appeared. A small green sprout pushed through the soil. It was fragile but alive. Elias leaned closer, his eyes filled with curiosity. "It's growing," he whispered. From that moment, everything felt different. He began to visit the garden more often. He checked the plant every day, sometimes twice a day. And the more he looked, the more it seemed to grow. The small sprout became a thin stem. The stem grew leaves. The leaves spread wider. Within a short time, it was clear. The cucumber plant was growing fast. Elias felt something he had not felt in a long time: hope. But then, his eyes moved to the other spot. Nothing. The soil, where the pomegranate seed was buried, remained completely still. No crack, no green, no life. At first, he ignored it. Maybe it just needed more time. So he kept watering both. But as days turned into weeks, the difference became impossible to ignore. The cucumber plant continued to grow stronger, reaching outward, climbing, spreading as if it knew exactly what it was doing. Meanwhile, the other spot remained silent, and slowly doubt began to return. Maybe this one is dead, Elias thought. He started to question himself. Did I plant it wrong? Did I water it enough? Or maybe it was never good to begin with. One afternoon, he knelt down and touched the soil, as if trying to feel something beneath it. But there was nothing he could see, and that made it worse. Because when you can see failure, you can accept it. But when you see nothing, you don't know what to believe. He went back to his grandfather. "The cucumber is growing," Elias said. "But the other one, nothing." His grandfather looked at him calmly. "Are you still watering it?" "Yes." "Then keep going." "That's it?" Elias asked, confused. "That's it," his grandfather replied. Elias didn't argue, but he didn't feel convinced either. Over time, something changed inside him. Not in a good way. He still watered both seeds, but not with the same energy, not with the same belief. The cucumber plant was now producing small flowers. Soon after, tiny cucumbers appeared. They grew quickly, visible, tangible, rewarding. It felt like success. And compared to that, the other seed felt like a waste. So Elias began to give less attention to it. Not completely, but enough to show that he had already made up his mind. Then one morning, without expecting anything, he walked into the garden. He almost didn't look at the second spot. Almost. But something caught his eye. A tiny crack in the soil. He stepped closer, and there it was. A small green shoot, barely visible, pushing slowly upward. Elias froze. For a moment he didn't move. "It's alive," he said quietly. It wasn't impressive. It wasn't strong. It didn't look like success. But it existed. And somehow, that changed everything. From that day on, Elias treated both plants differently. Not with excitement, but with understanding. He no longer expected the second plant to grow fast. He simply gave it what it needed. Time, water, consistency. The cucumber plant continued its journey. It grew fast, produced more fruit, reached its peak, and then, slowly, it began to fade. Its leaves lost their color. Its vines became dry. Its life cycle ended. Elias watched it quietly. There was no disappointment, only awareness. That was its nature. But the pomegranate plant, it stayed. Day by day it grew, slowly, quietly, steadily. Its stem became stronger, its leaves darker, its presence, it's more solid. Seasons began to change, and one day something new appeared. Small buds, then flowers, then fruit. Elias picked one and held it in his hands. It was heavier than he expected, richer, deeper, more complete. He brought it to his grandfather. "It took so long," he said. His grandfather nodded. "Yes." "Why?" His grandfather looked at him and said gently, "Because it wasn't just growing upward." He pointed to the ground. It was growing downward first. Elias stayed silent. "The roots," his grandfather continued, "had to become strong enough to support what you see now." Then he added, "Some things grow fast and disappear fast. Some things take time and stay." Elias looked at the fruit again, and for the first time in a long time, he didn't feel behind. He felt aligned, because he finally understood something simple. Just because nothing is visible does not mean nothing is happening. Sometimes the most important part of your journey is the part no one can see. So, if you are in a season where nothing seems to move, where your effort feels invisible, where your progress feels delayed, maybe you are not failing. Maybe you are growing roots. And roots always take time